All right, coming up next here on TBS, guys, will you please settle down, Czar? Very busy here. We will complete the announcers' challenge by grading E.J. Kenny and Charles' just completed performance up in Toronto. A 9-game night in the NBA. We'll have scores and highlights, including a big one between Portland and Dallas. All that plus insights from the Czar and Peter. Inside the NBA is next.
You don't always have to be above the rim to have that happen to you. What are we talking about this for?
What I really want to say, I don't think anybody got that good of aim.
If he had. Charles here is.
Girl, quit bugging me. I'm keeping the. Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Hey, don't eat it. He might have spit in it. Don't take that.
Peter gave somebody a compliment. And that's amazing. Next thing, we're going to see Allie McBeal eating a donut. What the hell is the world coming to? Peter gave somebody a compliment.
The weekend with the Duke. This Saturday and Sunday only on the Superstation.
You know the great thing about that?
Yeah.
Them boys from North Carolina going to get to watch that.
Hey. Are we still on?
And we welcome you to Inside the NBA, presented by Hyundai. Marv Albert, along with the Czar, and Peter Vesey, as we just saw on TBS, as brought to you in extraordinary fashion by the announced team of Ernie and Kenny and Charles. It was the Raptors over the Pacers, 102-81. Vince Carter, 12 of 16 from the field for 33 points. So Toronto now, at the moment, a half game behind Orlando. Indiana drops to a tie for that 8th and final playoff spot with the Boston Celtics.
I told you that the Raptors could beat the Pacers without Mark Jackson. You didn't believe that, but there they are. The first game, very disappointing for the Pacers. As someone who follows.
I wanted to do that. There's no reason to do it. I realize that. I just.
Would you like a little more substance thrown on there right now?
It just felt so good. You know?
Think about it. 4 straight games now. The same thing has happened each game. Vince Carter goes off for a big game, averaged almost 35 points in 4 games against them. They get out rebounded. We're talking about Indiana each night against Toronto, and a significant number of free throws by Toronto versus Indiana.
Peter, what's going on with the Pacers?
Marv, I mean, obviously, I bring up Mark Jackson. They miss Mark Jackson. They miss having an IQ at point guard. They obviously miss Rick Smits. You know, this is a year that management knew right from the beginning, you know, with all the changes, that they were going to have to go through, you know, this growth. And it's a slow growth. It's an inconsistent growth. Just when it looks like they're playing well, they just had a great game against the Kings, a great win in Indianapolis. You know, they started to run the ball more. It seemed like the light went on. You know, I know the guys tonight were saying that, you know, that they didn't have that they didn't have consistency from enough players, but that's not really true. I mean, Harrington in the last couple weeks has really won that small forward spot. O'Neal's been consistent all year. Yes.
Peter, more importantly, okay,
yes.
Why didn't Rick Smits come back to him? I mean, he's still playing, I understand, over in Europe right now. Why couldn't he come back, give him another year?
Rick Smits, I believe, really would have come back, Mike, had they kept the team together. Once he saw, and he'll never admit this, but this is what sources tell me close to the club, that had Dale Davis stayed around and Mark Jackson, he would have come back, because Dale Davis always had his back. He was the one who guarded the other team's centers for the most part. So he knew he didn't have to do that. Mark Jackson was going to get him the ball where he needed it at all times. He wasn't sure that Travis Best and Jalen Rose could do that. Obviously, that's exactly true. They have found out this year several things. One very important thing. Jalen Rose is not a point guard, and he always wanted to be. And more important than that, Jalen Rose knows now that he's not a point guard.
But you say they found that out they found that out 3 years ago. They found that out 2 years ago.
Not
Jalen Rose wanted to play point guard.
They had to give it to him. They had to give him that shot, because they just gave him $92 million.
Mark Jackson, incidentally, 10 assists tonight for the New York
and
Knicks.
7 turnovers.
Yes, which is unusual for him, though.
Right.
So.
But he was very close to a triple-double.
It is great time, I'm told. We took a look at the guys' work at halftime, and the Czar, you were, I thought, a little tough.
Let's change. This is the summation of the whole game. Let's go to a letter system rather than numbers. We're going to go A, B, C, D, E, and like we all know from school days.
All right, we're dealing with how the guys did in the telecast.
Voice quality. We're going to a B+ voice quality. Delivery, a B delivery. On-camera presence. Well, for the most part, it was an A-. They smiled a lot. They had nice presentation. Yes, I did. Content.
Very important, Peter.
Unbelievable. Content, just a straight B. Clothes. We have to give them an incomplete on clothing, give them an opportunity to go back to the store and see if they can do a little bit better.
Wait, see who can give them something, you mean?
Well, see if they can catch a break.
They didn't pay for it.
They want a deal is what they want, Pete.
Right.
And lastly, likability.
Likability. Q rating.
There it is. I have to put it in. Likability. We talked about it.
That could be congeniality, right?
Yeah. I'm confused though. You went from the numerical to the grades.
You are confused. We've known that for quite a while.
That we know.
Likability and
Charles is on the phone right now. Go ahead, Charles. Tell him who's
Charles is on the phone.
Okay,
Right.
hey,
This is the way he works at the studio, too.
Thank you, Mr. Ebersol. I'll get back to Mr. Turner. Okay.
Mr. Turner.
I take exception to some of that.
No, that was Dick Ebersol. He wanted to get one of those buttons for Peter so he can shut him up all the time that we had tonight. So that's the thing. We can cover him in Atlanta now with Marv keep hitting the button. We got to get one on NBC now.
I must say that we've had an excellent time, I think, here.
Thank you for your phone,
in Toronto tonight, and much thanks to Marv and Mike for allowing us to make the switch. And I do have to take exception.
Thank them for letting us get the switch
Fratello
back.
gives us an incomplete on
terrible.
clothing. The guy who used to be a spokesman for Kuppenheimer before it went under.
Did he really?
Yeah, that's all he wore was
Hey, no, the Kuppenheimers were great friends of mine, so don't talk bad about them.
I'm not talking bad about it. I'm just saying Mike used to be the spokesman for him.
And then you said they went under. That's a reflection on my man Fratello.
No, that means that Mike Fratello might have got him
It should be a reflection.
But you know what, Ernie? Don't take it personal because the incomplete really. It's because of the jacket. I tell you, if they saw the whole ensemble together.
You know the bad thing about it, we never have to worry about Peter sending a company on it because J.C. Panay, they gonna always be around the way he dresses.
Let me have you guys had a good time in the studio tonight?
Xenia. Did you ever hear that, Charles?
Who?
Xenia.
Is that with a Z?
We've had.
I know you have problems spelling.
We've had a terrific time here.
He would have done well at NBC because our format this year, and he tried out. He wanted that spot, but he couldn't. We didn't have the money for him. But our format this year is style, no substance. You would have fit in well there this year.
Taking shots from all.
Are you taking shots at your partner?
Of course, we didn't have.
Charles.
No, you, Charles.
Oh my God!
He hadn't laid a glove on you yet, champ.
Style, no
Guys,
substance.
nice job. Here's one for you. Matter of fact, find the buzzer. Thank you.
Yeah, and Marv.
Yes.
Let me thank you too. Marv called my house Friday night.
Right.
And said, hey, any questions you have, any concerns you have, I know this is something new that you're going to be doing. Just the classiest thing
Mike
that
didn't
could
call
possibly
us.
happen.
He didn't say anything.
Mike,
again,
I called Mike today and asked him, Mike, you got any advice for me? Because I respect Fratello that much. I don't get Mara's private number.
I don't have it. I didn't get a call from anyone, and this seat is a little bit too tight for me anyway. I need to, and I hope you're feeling good over there, Mike, in my seat. I know it's a little big. It's tough.
Hyundai.
Kenny, according to my calculations, this is the first game that you've actually watched since that Pete Newell camp.
I got something for you next Tuesday. Don't worry, Pete. I got something for you.
Thank you, guys.
All right,
We're going to
guys.
we'll send it back to you, and please
Earl Simmons,
keep the buzzer there.
PMX.
Ernie, the Czar mentioned what he has enjoyed most here, being in the studio, were the snacks. He did point that out on several occasions. All right, we're going to take a break. Coming up, we'll look at the highlights from tonight. Big game between the Portland Trail Blazers and the Dallas Mavericks. The struggling Blazers, Allen Houston, who had been slumping, breaking out at the gun in Cleveland. A career night for Houston. We'll be right back.
Inside the NBA on TBS is brought to you by Hyundai, where the freedom of America's best warranty, the Hyundai Advantage, is standard equipment.
The Hyundai Elantra is making news again. In a 5-mile-per-hour crash test, the 2001 Elantra performed the best. Better than Honda Civic, Ford Focus, and every other car tested. Elantra is also the only car in its class with standard side airbags and the freedom of America's best warranty plan. Maybe that's why leading consumer publications are talking about Elantra value and calling it the best new car under $13,000.
Hey, kids, look who's here.
Woohoo! Happy birthday, Tommy.
Stanny.
Okay, what's your favorite animal, Donnie?
Giraffe?
There you go.
What is it?
Hey, you're welcome. Kids, come here. Clowny's got an idea. Who wants a nap? Huh? I know I do. What?
Ever get the feeling some people just stop trying? At Avis, we know people like to be taken care of. Individually. Avis, we try harder.
Tom Green here at Muscle Beach. We're going to show how Night Guard Extreme Sport works even under the most extreme conditions. Extreme protection against odor and wetness. Goes on clear and it doesn't quit.
Right Guard Extreme Sport. Get extreme. Get Right Guard.
If you can't stop here, stop here for 25% off the regular price of Midas BSD brake pads and shoes. They've got a lifetime guarantee. They're quieter, they stop faster, and last longer. Go Midas.
Every week on the Superstation, there's a storm shaking the ground, pushing the limits. Thunder. Last week, Mysterio and Kidman Phase 3 count in a cruiserweight tag match, while Totally Buff collided with O'Hare and Palumbo in a four-way dance. Then DFG and the Chosen One spelled double trouble for Paige and Rhodes. This Wednesday night on the Superstation, feel the thunder. Thunder. Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, only on the Superstation.
Back in Atlanta, we check out some of the highlights. Knicks and the Cavs at the Gund Arena. Knicks have had problems on the road, 8 losses the previous 9 games, but Allen Houston with a sensational night to lead the Knicks to a 5th straight victory. Houston for 2 of a career-high 39 points. How about 15 of 23 from the field?
New York shoots 55% from the floor. Cavaliers shoot 35% from the floor. Nobody in the starting 5 for the Cavaliers scores in double figures.
That's right, 13 total for the starting 5 of the Cavs.
And not a pleasant evening for that man, Randy Whitman. Cavs have lost 11 of their last 13. And how about this? The 35-point home loss matches the largest in Cleveland's 31-year history. So the Knicks 110-75.
Nate Thurman thinking about coming out of retirement.
Orlando and Chicago. Doc Rivers back home in Chicago. Here's Tracy McGrady off the break. He had 12 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists. Ron Mercer on the drive. The Bulls hanging in early. Mercer 12 points in the first half, but Orlando took charge in the third quarter.
Jerry Krause thinking about coming out of retirement.
Peter just fires away.
Actually, Chicago had 5 starters in double figures, spread their scoring around, but a little too much firepower, particularly with Williams coming off the bench for 22 points for Orlando.
And the Chicago Bulls now have lost 7 straight. 103-95, the final. Orlando bouncing back from the loss on Sunday at home to the Lakers.
Shaq's father on the bench next to Doc Rivers now, assistant coach of the Magic.
All right, the Grizzlies and the Nets in New Jersey. Johnny Newman off the steal. Here's Kenyon Martin. Martin with 16 points in the first half.
How about Martin and Van Horn combined for 48 points? How about the starting backcourt for New Jersey? Sherman Douglas and Johnny Newman.
Stephon sitting out
That's the old Johnny Newman. That's not the 39-year-old. That's the 60-year ABA guy.
And Martin finished with 24 points, 11 rebounds. The injured Stephon Marbury missing his 2nd straight game with that sore hip. Vancouver has lost 6 in a row. Nets had lost 5 in a row. Nets now go to 23-47. On the subject of the Grizzlies, what's going on with that possible move?
Well, the deadline for Michael Heisley to tell the league where he plans to move the team is Monday. The Board of Governors are meeting in New York on Thursday and Friday to either okay it or void it. Marv, what I hear, though, is the league, the number one option, which everyone has written, they want the Grizzlies to stay in Vancouver, if at all possible. The second option, which has not been broached at all, is they might decide, if they don't like the city that Heisley wants to move it to, and he doesn't want to keep it there. They're thinking about possibly dispersal draft, contract, get rid of the franchise, spread the players around the league, because they don't want to be forced into going into a city that's just not good for the league. And the second reason is, even if they do find a city that the league likes, that's an expansion city possibly. That's the kind of money that the rest of the owners, the other 28 owners, would like to divvy up if they move in an expansion franchise.
Wait a minute, if they contract and take the players and disperse them amongst the other teams, what happens to the money that he has invested in this franchise?
Well, that is all details that would have to be worked out.
Just a minor detail. $160 million.
When you sell the players, there has to, you get money. I mean, we did it in the ABA. I remember Portland wound up with Moses Malone. They already had a pretty good center in Bill Walton. But those are things that I'm saying it's a possibility. It's something they're considering.
And they do have some attractive players who obviously would easily find a home elsewhere.
You know what? It'd make the league stronger.
This is not a good sign in terms of interest in Vancouver. Reading here, other than the team radio broadcasters, no members of the Vancouver media cover the game tonight.
But you know what, Marv? The Nets have been going through that for years and years. So this time of the year, who travels with them besides their TV and radio guys?
All right, switching gears. I know that yes.
Take that.
How's that? Okay. I know that the NBA Rules Committee has conferred with you on a number of occasions. They look to make some changes for next season. What would you like to see?
I'll tell you things that I'll say, don't be surprised if you see these things. First of all, the experiment with the strong side, any defense you want to play on the ball side of the floor, I would expect that to be at least the minimum amount that they would change next year. By putting that in so far, all we've seen is a number of isolations. Put 4 guys on one side of the floor, let somebody go one-on-one. I think they'll change that rule, bring back a different set of guidelines concerning the strong side. I think the hand check, we may see a form of the hand check come back, because with isolations and no ability to touch the player with the ball, it becomes virtually impossible to guard a guy off the dribble. Now you have players shooting 24, 26 free throws a night, and as a result, teams have stopped extending their defense down the court because they don't want to pick up cheap fouls. The other thing, the closely guarded rule that they had in college, kind of like a 5-second rule with the basketball. It will get more ball movement on the floor rather than guys just pounding the ball in isolation situations.
You know what?
You'll have to move
those are all just minimal changes, though. I think one change they should actually make is lower the 24-second clock to 20 seconds, speed up the game a little bit more.
Well, what you're going to get there, Peter, is guys hurrying the ball down the floor. And sure, there will be a number of coaches.
No, coaches won't like that.
Well, wait, there'll be a number of coaches. Tell me that Paul Westhead won't like that, okay? The guy who comes down and wants to score 160 points a game. There will be coaches that will like that. What you're going to get is a run and gun, bring it down, 1 pass, 2 passes, shoot it, and then run back the other end.
I'm from the ABA. I like that.
You like it.
Okay. We'll get back to that at a later date. More coming up in terms of highlights. Portland and Dallas tonight. Portland Trailblazers having major problems. They have lost 6 of their last 7 games, and Vince Carter doing it against the Pacers up in Toronto. Vince, 12 of 16 for the field, 33 points in all. We'll be right back.
What's the situation?
We got a little kitty stuck in the tree.
Looks like Calico.
Copy that, Calico. Gonna need more air support. Hello? What about a ladder?
Just because you have the power doesn't mean you should use it. True for kitty rescues and credit cards. Spend wisely, seek balance, live richly.
Introducing Coleman Back Home, a complete collection of outdoor furniture, heaters, grills, lights, and accessories, all backed by 100 years of legendary Coleman quality.
Woody was kidnapped.
The toys are back in town.
What are we gonna do, Buzz?
Use your head.
But I don't want to use my head!
Disney and Pixar's Toy Story 2.
Woody saves the day again!
Hold
Hold it right there.
On direct ticket pay-per-view, rated G.
Now let's move out.
And don't forget to pick up your Animation Celebration Watch, Match, and Win game piece at KB Toys.
UFC middleweight champion of the world, Tito Ortiz. Undefeated #1 contender, Evan Tanner.
Let's get it on!
Huntington Beach bad boy Tito Ortiz puts his title on the line against hard-hitting Texan Evan Tanner. Plus the toughest event in sports from the Trump Taj Mahal in Atlantic City. UFC 30 on direct ticket.
Big night here on the set tomorrow night. Charles will hit the scales once again, checking out Fat Track 2 weeks ago, down to 307 pounds. And earlier this evening, we wanted to check out how the two of us would tip the scales together. Should have had Peter as part of this also.
You know, we had very heavy microphones.
Yes, that was a factor.
We'd probably have an extra 10, 12 pounds, maybe on each of us. You never can tell.
Right.
Imagine if Peter would have got on this thing.
He took the shoes off.
This is unfair, though, because Charles is weighed by the axle.
All right, and here it is. We came in at 355, and Charles had down to 307 last time out, and give it another shot tomorrow night.
He's concerned. He's concerned. He's on that popcorn diet.
Does Jordan actually realize how heavy Barkley is if he's going to have to carry him with the Wizards?
So the Raptors over the Pacers 102-81 earlier tonight. A scene here on TBS, the game broadcast by Ernie Johnson, Kenny Smith, and Charles Barkley. Vince Carter, 12 of 16, 33 points in his 32 minutes. The big game tonight, though, the Portland Trailblazers, who have been having their problems against Don Nelson's Dallas Mavericks. Michael Finley on the drive, Mavs up 24-14 after one. And Scottie Pippen on the steal. For your guy, Sean Kemp.
Well, when you wind up shooting 50% from the floor and hold the opponent to 39% shooting, it gives you a chance to win a basketball game. Obviously, Portland getting a big night from their forwards tonight. Pippen and Wallace combined for 34 points. The backcourt of Stoudemire and Bonzi Wells combined for 26 points.
27 from the bench, Mike. Well, you know, Pippen, that's probably Pippen and Bradley because they've had history of going at each other. And I saw Pippen throw an elbow at Bradley during that game.
Scottie was ejected, 2 technical fouls. Rasheed Wallace, incidentally, the man who was playing the peacemaker with Scottie Pippen, was hit with his 38th technical, which matches his NBA record 38 of a year ago.
Well, I mean, not to get off that subject, but Rod Strickland, who everybody was complaining about on the team, you know, they added him and Detlef Schrempf. Those two guys combined for 18 points, and Rod also had 7 assists. So obviously fitting in a little better. This was a huge win for Mike Dunleavy. He needed this one badly, and the team needed it badly.
All right, more inside the NBA coming up. A look at Detroit and Utah, plus much more. Back to Studio A on this first day of spring in a moment.
The Great Baseball Tour, coming to the Superstation in April.
.com lets you get up, work where you want, and stay connected to the network. 3Com. Simple sets you free.
It's not for sale.
No.
Some things are just too good to let go of. That's why there's Valvoline Max Life.
The first motor oil formulated for higher mileage engines, Max Life conditions use seals to help prevent leaks and helps you hold on to your car for a long, long time.
Don't even think about it.
Valvoline Max Life.
Diving contest with the first girl you ever kissed. Free. Tropical drinks with your army buddies. Free. Water sports with the people who knew you when you had hair.
Marco!
Free. A week on a private island with your 9 oldest friends. Priceless. Win an island vacation for 10. Enter at MasterCard.com. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard.
Welcome back to Inside the NBA, presented by Hyundai. And tonight's AutoZone This Day in History takes us back to March 20th, 1984, when the Czar was a mere child. The Pacers' Butch Carter scoring an NBA record 14 points in overtime to help Indiana beat Boston, 123-121. Carter with 28 points for the night. 4 others, including Earl the Pearl Monroe, have scored 13 points in an overtime game.
And I still love Pogo Joe Caldwell. I just want him to know that.
All right, late fourth quarter, Pistons and Jazz. Chucky Atkins on the lay in 16 points in the first half. John Stockton, Scott Padgett to Karl Malone. Jazz with a 50-49 lead at halftime, and then Jerry Stackhouse goes to work.
Stack. Boy, I tell you, when he can hit the outside shot, he can go to the line 12, 15 times a game. Wait till this guy gets a couple players. The Pistons have a lot of cap room over the summer.
And it is Utah by 6 in the final moments. 2:47 remaining. Washington and Phoenix playing in the Valley of the Sun. And it is a 10-point lead for the Phoenix Suns, just under 8.5 remaining in that fourth quarter. Well, some head coaches have been busy in terms of the book market. Lenny Wilkins with a new book entitled Unguarded, My 40 Years Surviving in the NBA. And Phil Jackson with Charlie Rosen writing More Than a Game, just hitting local bookstores. And Peter, as you're well aware, the Czar has come out with his own tome. There it is.
Wow. Oh,
as told to Peter.
Told to Peter.
Yes.
Have you had a chance
I didn't realize that.
You had a chance to read that yet?
No, I have not. I did not get my free copy.
Right. Did the crayons come with it?
Pictures, just pictures. It's a picture book.
I see. Okay. We'll have much more on NBA coaches, some who have not written books as of late, and we'll check in on the Philadelphia situation. Allen Iverson continuing to sit it out, along with head coach Larry Brown. Back in a moment.
Hi-ho, hi-ho, it's off to work we go.
Hi-ho, hi-ho, hi-ho.
If you want happy employees, help secure their financial futures. At the Principal Financial Group, that's what we do. We're the 401k leader and offer financial solutions for you and growing businesses. The Principal Financial Group, we understand what you're working for.
It's time for Suzuki Fest 2001, Suzuki's main sales event. This Suzuki Fest is the biggest ever, with over 20 different motorcycles and ATVs to choose from. Right now, you can get up to $400 in your choice of free accessories when you buy select Suzuki Cruisers or sport bikes. Choose from jackets, tank bags, anything you want, plus get great financing too. Go to your participating Suzuki dealer by April 30th and come out riding.
Hey, kids, look who's here.
Woohoo! Happy birthday, Tommy.
Stanny.
Okay, what's your favorite animal, Donnie?
Giraffe?
There you go.
What is it?
Yeah, you're welcome. Kids, come here. Clowny's got an idea. Who wants a nap? Huh? I know I do. What?
Ever get the feeling some people just stop trying? At Avis, we know people like to be taken care of. Individually. Avis, we try harder.
Tom Green here at Muscle Beach. We're going to show how Right Guard Extreme Sport works even under the most extreme conditions. Extreme protection against odor and wetness. Goes on clear and it doesn't quit.
Right Guard Extreme Sport. Get extreme. Get Right Guard.
If you can't stop here, stop here. For 25% off the regular price of Midas BSD brake pads and shoes. They've got a lifetime guarantee. They're quieter, they stop faster, and last longer. Go Midas.
Inside the NBA on the Superstation is brought to you by AutoZone, the right part, the right price, and good advice. And by the Fannie Mae Foundation, showing America a new way home.
Welcome back to Atlanta. Check of the score from Staples in Los Angeles. The Clippers with a 28-25 lead on the 76ers. Larry Brown continues to sit it out, although he is supposed to join the club later this week. And Allen Iverson missing the game once again because of that sore hip. What's going on with Philadelphia?
He will join them in Phoenix for the game Friday. He was supposed to be out there today, but you know there was some counterfeit speculation that Larry actually had a growth. He does have a growth in his neck, and the speculation was that it was cancerous. That is absolutely not true. All the tests proved positive that he took, and you know they had to put him out, and that's why he was not able to travel within 24 hours after going under anesthesia. So he will be there. Thank goodness, Larry. The best to you, and he'll be there Friday. And Allen is still out for a while.
He worked out today in Philadelphia.
Okay,
He's day-to-day left hip pointer from when he dove on the floor in Boston.
Hip hop pointer.
Yes.
That's good. Collective joke. Very nice. You guys,
Can we
look that up?
Marv. I thought those three guys would never leave. How did you get rid of them so quickly?
You're talking about
those guys that are across the border, you know?
They would never leave.
That border patrol.
You mean they'd never get off the air is what you're saying?
God.
Hey, I had a great time tonight.
Can I say something?
No. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I can't help myself.
We have Fat Track. We have Fat Track.
Yes.
It's like a little niche in the show. Can we have like this be our little niche that if there's somebody you want to wish happy birthday to on that particular day, you say happy birthday. Can we do that? Happy birthday, Pat Riley. Pat Riley's birthday today. I think all head coaches.
Well, I'd like to say hello to the American Legion on Shelter Island.
Coming up, incidentally, the motion picture Mad Max Beyond
Would you like to see some pictures?
One of these
I have pictures for you.
Favorite.
Would you like to see some
Peter.
Pictures.
Pictures.
There's one. How about
Marv
this
Albert.
one?
Thanks to everybody behind the scenes here at Studio
How about
A.
this one?
Who's the guy in the right?
How about Barkley?
Good
Milk Dud Head. There he is.
Say good night.
There's Barkley. Another pose of Barkley.
What are you doing?
Just showing pictures. Look at this one. How about that
Signed.
one? Another one.
It's
Look,
signed.
yes, to me on that one. Some great pictures.
Is that worth extra?
Yeah. Look.
Or less?
Helping Joe Torre with World Series info. I'm busy, but
you're losing yourself.
Billy Crystal yawning.
Right, loves what he's saying. Yawning, yeah. Obviously, you're not talking about Mickey Mantle.
The preceding has been a presentation of TBS Sports.